All right, we're back with another pick'em video. Going to be talking NBA in this one. We got 6 games today, so definitely some value out there on the board, but some injury news that still needs to come out. And the board's just not as hot as it's been the past few days. But regardless, going to give you guys 3 or 4 plays that I'm really liking today, and then also a sleeper pick that I really like for the day, especially with some potential injury news. So if you're new to the channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Like the video so more people can see it, and as well as comment down below. Just helps the algorithm push this video out a bit more. But 2 for 4 in the video picks for NBA yesterday. Our Discord had a crazy day for NFL. We had a bunch of stacking opportunities for those quarterbacks and receivers in those games that mattered. So that's really how we attacked the day, and hit 3 different 10x's, which was awesome. A potential 25x too if Dobbs ends up playing that game. Ended up getting rebooted after like 1 snap. So it's nice that PrizePicks does that reboot. But again, if he goes out and plays, with Jordan Love playing the way he did, I expect him to probably hit that line for the 25x. But hey, we'll take 10x any day of the week. And let's go over these picks real quick, and then we'll jump into the board. But yeah, really good day on all platforms. PrizePicks, we killed it. Underdog, sleeper, chalkboard. Had a great day in the Discord. But again, 2 for 4 in the video picks. DeJounte Murray and Jalen Duren were our hits. This game went to overtime, and he still went under, which was nice to see. And then Brandon Ingram, blowout show. Sometimes that's going to happen. I told my Discord, I tell my followers this all the time. You just got to ride the wave. You can't predict blowouts. You can't predict foul trouble all the time. Overtime's going to happen if you have some unders. And I know some guys in the Discord are not too happy with Cam Johnson getting to overtime yesterday. Ruined some big slips. I'm talking like 99x slips. But yeah, just keep attacking value, and these things should work themselves out. Brandon Ingram, again, blowout there, had 15 points in the first half, but then ended up playing, with a lot of the backups in that third quarter, and didn't really have to do much of that. And then Paul George and LeBron, this was a great one to attack. Paul George ended up getting 4 for us. LeBron had a great game in a win. But only shot 3 threes and made only 1. So just went under there with a little bit of a hook. But yeah, let's jump into the board, see what we got going on. And definitely some solid spots with, again, some injury news. All right, so the first guy we're going to go to is going to be Giannis today. There is no Damian Lillard in this one. And it's really going to be the Giannis show. I think a lot of his lines are kind of inflated too much to the point where I don't feel great taking them just based on EV. I usually like to attack EV. And some of these are just a little bit too inflated. This was at 36.5, probably bumped back down to where it's supposed to be around 35.5. Obviously, he's been killing it. 2 40-point games, almost 50-point games in a row. And with no Dame, obviously he's going to be the man going up against a poor defense in Utah. But I'm going to go to his 2.5 blocks and steals. This is a really nice EV bet, which again, I like to attack. But at the same time, thinking about this logically, they're coming off, kind of a skid here. Losing against Houston, which was their last matchup, I believe. And yeah, losing a tough one against Houston, kind of been, 50-50 the past few games now. And I think he's going to come out, kind of play a little angry. Again, Damian Lillard's in town, but this is still Giannis's team. And with no Damian Lillard on the court, he's really going to go ahead and show that. I think he's going to play aggressively today. And we can pull up his page over here, 2.5 blocks and steals. It's showing up at minus 130 value. We'll go more into the odds in a second here. But 51% of the time he's gone over this line. Obviously, it's not the best hit rate that we have seen before, but the last 5, 3 of 5, so not horrible there. Again, Houston, kind of a tougher team in general, doesn't really give up a whole bunch of blocks or steals, but this Utah team does, one of the worst in terms of collectively both of them. So allowing a whole bunch of steals, allowing a whole bunch of blocks, and to the power forward position, sometimes you look at this, you take it with a grain of salt, but it's nice to see that they're even a little bit worse against the power forward position. So should be a lot of opportunity for Giannis here in terms of getting some blocks, getting some steals. They haven't matched up against each other yet this year, but he did get 2 last year. So again, another one to take with a grain of salt, as both these teams are really different. But again, looks, solid. Let's go over to OddsJam, kind of check out his odds and see where their other books are putting this line. Then we'll go to Giannis. I think it's going to be probably his best line up here right now. Yeah, blocks and steals. Oops. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I think OddsJam is literally updating as I am using it. I knew they had an update coming out, but okay, I don't think anything really changed. But okay, interesting. 52.88% chance to hit for the blocks and steals line that we were looking at before. Not a whole lot of books have this, but the ones that do, around minus 130, minus 145 value. So I think it's a great spot for him. Again, Utah gets blocked around, stolen from a decent amount. But we can go to RotoWire, kind of check out their projection models, see if they're seeing anything differently. And we see that points line popping up if you guys want to attack the points and ride that wave with Giannis. Obviously, he's been killing it. I would not be surprised if he does it again tonight. But the blocks and steals line is popping up slightly on the over as well. They're projecting 2.77, which is a bit higher than that 2.5 blocks line, or the blocks and steals line that we're getting. So yeah, definitely a solid spot for this line for him. And again, you can see the unders kind of being valued a little bit more as they kind of inflated his lines maybe a little bit too much. But again, he's able to do this coming off 245 plus games. So easier matchup against Utah. Maybe this points line is the way to go for you guys. But yeah, starting off with Giannis, and we're just going to go to his counterpart here in Chris Middleton. This might be more of a personal play for me. I'm going to go to his 32.0 PRA. And again, this is much to do with Damian Lillard being out rather than EV, which is what I typically go for. And it's definitely not in terms of hit rates. So I'll pull up his page. I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. This, again, might be more of a personal play for me. But I think he's going to come out, have a great game. And his minutes limit's kind of gone. He gets around 33 or so a game now. And we can see right here, again, we're getting at 32.0. This is at 32.5. But can we see his line above 31? No, we can't. So we'll just go over here, and we see the hit rate on this is absolutely horrible. Or I guess we're going over. So we want to see all that red. 1 of 31 games he's gone over this line. But Damian Lillard's only missed 2 games. And when he did miss those games, we can show that as well. He did miss those games. He didn't get this line either, but he was only playing 19 or so minutes back in November. He's kind of back into the swing of things. And again, going up against a poorer defense, I think it's a great spot for Middleton to really, break out and have a solid game. It's not like he hasn't been close to this line a bunch of times. It just he hasn't been over the line. And if we take a look at the Bucks without Damian Lillard on the court, we can see that per 36 minutes. We'll try to find what's his name. Chris Middleton right here, averaging 25.3, 4.1 rebounds, and 7.6 assists. So that would be much over his 32 line. That would be what? 37, 35, 36? It would be over the line, whatever it would be. And again, this is per 36 minutes, so it's right around that 32-ish line. I just think he's going to have a great game personally today, and that's what I'm going to be riding with. So 2 Bucks players to start us off, Giannis and Chris Middleton. Giannis is definitely a positive EV play, but also makes sense to me. Middleton may be more of a personal play. But let's go to our next guy. It's going to be DeMar DeRozan. And it looks like they took Bulls lines off the board. All right, looks like they are back up. They took them down for a second. I was going to go to 9.5 rebounds and assists going under here. I am curious to see if the injuries news got updated. Okay, so this is interesting. Nikola Vucevic was probable. Looks like he still is. Zach LaVine was also probable, though. So this is kind of cool to see on the fly. Yeah, okay, so downgraded to questionable. Okay, so this is big news. I was attacking this thinking that LaVine and Vucevic would be playing in this one. But if they're not playing in this one, or if LaVine's not playing in this one, this changes my mindset a little bit on this one. So I was going to go to his 9.5 rebounds and assists. Looks like this is switched now to favoring the over, and that, again, makes sense a little bit to me. With Zach LaVine on the floor and Vucevic on the floor, his hit rate on this line was looking really, really nice. So I don't know if I can add both guys, but let's just do LaVine, kind of show you right here. 83% of the time he's gone under this line with LaVine off the floor. Yes, it was a easier matchup here against Charlotte, but this game is the lowest in terms of total points today. I think it's like 216 or something. Yeah, 216.0. So not a bunch of points to be had or predicted to be had. And I was really liking this spot. Obviously 83% without Zach, or with the Zach LaVine in the lineup. But now with Zach LaVine playing or not playing, I keep mixing that up. Zach LaVine is not playing, or looking like he's not going to play. It scares me a little bit. So I might be coming off this one. Again, these lines are always moving. You got to keep up with the injury news. But yeah, so 9.5 rebounds assists. I've already submitted this, so if you want to go ahead and do that, I think it's still a solid line. but not liking it as much if Zach LaVine is not going to play. So I'll keep that in there, but we'll try to find another one here on the fly. I will go to OddsJam, kind of attack some positive EV. Looks like we're getting some green plays for college football. But Kobe White right here under PRA is an interesting one popping up. His line probably got moved around a decent amount as they are figuring out the injury news. So Kobe White at 31.5 looks like that is maybe inflated a little bit too high. But with no Zach LaVine, I'm curious to see if that is a good one. But strictly EV, this is a nice green play. FanDuel's got this at 30.5. DraftKings and Bovada or BetOnline got this already at 29.5. So could be a solid spot for him here. Josh Giddey at 4.5 assists. I don't love that going up against Washington. Miles Bridges 11.5. This one does seem solid to me going up against the Bulls. Okay, so I'd like to look at that one, Miles Bridges, real quick. Hopefully you guys don't mind me just kind of going on the fly here. But we can get some good picks in here as we go. 11.5 was it? Rebounds and assists. We'll just pop into his page. Rebounds and assists under, yeah, so over is a plus 106, so great to see that. Minus 130, so yeah, definitely some good EV. Looks like the head-to-head this year has been great, 10-7. They played just a few days ago as well. And in 2023, 73% hit rate. That makes sense to me. This one makes sense. He's been really the main scorer over here. Ton of injuries for the Hornets as well, so probably not a whole bunch of assists to be had with this one. Miles Bridges doesn't typically get a whole bunch of assists either. It'll really be if he come down to if he's going to rebound the ball really well. But with Drummond and Vucevic now playing, it makes sense that he only had 5 last time. So yeah, so on the fly kind of here, we'll throw Miles Bridges in here. That looks like a really good one. And I apologize, but again, these lines are always moving and things can change pretty quickly. So that'll be our 4th pick. We'll go in here and submit this. But we got Giannis over 2.5 blocks and steals. This is a personal play. Only play it if you think, if you agree with my reasoning behind it. But with no Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton finally getting his normal amount of minutes around 32, 33, and not 19 or whatever he was getting back in November, I think he's going to have a great game. Really a coming out party for him in a great matchup against Utah. So he could definitely get it going. But if Giannis goes out and scores 50, that might be a little bit difficult for him. DeMar DeRozan under 9.5 rebounds and assists. This one was looking really good. But now that Zach LaVine has changed from probable to questionable, that means he probably will not play in this one, which hurts this value. It's not as good as it was before, but still a solid hit rate, even with Zach LaVine not playing. And then Miles Bridges, we kind of found this one on the fly. That you kind of got how I use OddsJam and all these other tools, RotoWire, Outlier, kind of in unison, and was able to get this one pretty quickly. So Miles Bridges under 11.5 rebound assists. That one makes sense to me. Vucevic, Drummond playing. It's tough to go ahead and grab rebounds. And with so many guys being out for Charlotte, Miles Bridges is going to have to do a lot of the scoring and rather than diming the ball up. So that's 4 plays for you guys. Hopefully you don't mind me kind of going on the fly there. You got some insight on how I use OddsJam and Outlier kind of in unison. I do usually use RotoWire in this as well. So if we go to that Miles Bridges line, I'm curious what they are predicting for that rebounds and assist line. Look like everything's on the under except for RotoWire's projecting at 12.27. So again, I don't go off one thing. I don't have to have them all in unison at the same time. But when they do, it makes for a really good play. But again, sometimes things like this happen where it makes you second guess a little bit. But I'm staying tried and true to the process and liking these 4 plays. Washington versus Michigan tonight. That should be a fun game to watch. College football, I'm not always allowed to bet on, but I am in Rhode Island today, so I might try to be doing that a little bit. When I'm in Massachusetts, I'm not allowed to bet on player props for college sports, so that's unfortunate. But again, maybe I'll take advantage of the fact that I'm in Rhode Island for the next few hours. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Definitely leave the video a like, comment down below. Any of these tools I use, they have free trials. If you're not on Underdog, if you're not on Sleeper, if you're not on Chalkboard, go ahead and try to get on those guys. They run promotions all the time. Chalkboard literally runs discounted lines like every 5 hours practically. Sleeper has Wildcard Wednesday, which is coming up. Obviously, PrizePicks has Taco Tuesday. Underdog has Freaky Friday. They all have different days where they're throwing promotions and discounts at you. So it's highly advantageous to kind of take advantage of all of them. And again, they're doing deposit matches. Hit my link just to let them know that I sent you there. Sleeper, is doing a $500 deposit match. Take advantage of that while it's still up. And Chalkboard and Underdog are doing $100 deposit matches. So that will do it. Hopefully we have some fun today. Again, the NBA is going on, but we do have Washington versus Michigan to watch as well. So that will do it. Hopefully make some money tonight, guys, and peace out.